Hi guys, welcome to the story of Chinese characters. Let's take a look at today's 10 characters. This is the first one. 过, 过. That's the original picture of this Chinese character. The left part is this part. It's a radical of this character. That's to walk, to walk. And right part to me looks like kind of like a train passing the tunnel in the mountain. Right, that's the entrance, that's the exit, just passing through. So original meaning of this character 过 is to pass through, and for the modern Chinese character, it's pretty much the same meaning. It's to pass. All right. For the modern Chinese character I've already mentioned, the left part, this part, is the character 走. 走 means to walk, and this is what it looks like when functioning as a radical. And the right part being simplified from this to this simplified, and I used to pronounce it as 瓜 to represent the sound, to give you a hint of the sound 过, alright, the initial and the first part of the final. Alright. So in order to memorize the modern shape of the character, I think for the left part, that's to walk, that will be heard in so many characters, that's fine. And right part to me looks a little bit like zombie, like the body keeps straight and arm keeps straight and just walking on the street, right? That's the best I could do to help you memorize the modern shape. The vocabulary is the first one, 经过. 经过, this one, 经 means been through or passed through, pretty much the same meaning. And two similar meaning combined mean through. And this one, 难过. 难过. Nan is hard, right? So hard to pass, something hard to pass. That means sad. And this one, 不过. Something you cannot pass means but. There's a twist. And last one, 超过. 超 means super. Alright, so it's a super pass, surpass. Okay, next one. 者. 者. That's the Asian picture. It's kind of the original meaning is this is kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, four finger to point this direction and mention this is the thing I'm talking about. Alright, and later on for the modern meaning, it's not only represent this, but sometimes involve meaning person to put the occupation beforehand to mean the person. So the modern character, the above part, this part is 土 as the mud, and the lower part is 日 as the sun. And this one thing in between, I'd like you to picture as a ninja blade. Alright, so to me, the modern Chinese character looks a little bit like a ninja, carry a ninja sword on its back. And the vocabulary, 或者, 或 actually means or, and or this, about this, how about this, or, alright, to give you another option. Next one, 记者. This one, 者 represent the person, alright, so the person who's do 记 is to memorize, to take down, so journalist. And this one, 作者, another occupation, author. 作 means to compose, right? The person who composed, that's the author. And of course, I'm talking about 忍者. Alright, 忍者. This one, 忍 means endure in Chinese. So the person who could really endure and do some assassin and the way of the ninja, right? To be patient. So if you take a look, that's 水果, fruit, and 忍者, ninja, right? Fruit ninja. Next one. 画. 画. This is the ancient version. Left side, you probably start to be familiar with this one. That's a speech in ancient times, speech. And right part, that's probably your town and something complicated been put out through a town. That's the word you said. Actually, I believe this is the part. That's the word you said from your mouth. And the modern meaning is the content of the conversation, so pretty much the same as the word. So the structure, left part, speech, character, radical. And right part, 舌, to mean both, in ancient time pronounced differently, so it gives both hint about the sound and the meaning, right? So this part is this, 舌 as the town. So for this, and just to remember, the left part is something you say from the right part, your tongue or mouse. Right? Vocabulary. First one, 电话. Pretty much familiar with this one. 电 is electric, so the conversation formed by electricity. This one, 说话, 说 means to speak actually, and 话 is the content, alright? So this one, 说话, is to talk, and this is structure verb plus a small object within the verb. 笑话, 笑 means to laugh. So the conversation, the content of the conversation makes people laugh. That's joke. And the next one, 对话. 对 means opposite, alright, opposite. So you talk to each other. That's conversation. Next one. This one, yin or yin, two pronunciation, alright. That's the Asian character. Of course, it's been simplified quite a lot for the modern version. The Asian picture describes shooter accordingly. That's the within my knowledge, that's this part is the feud, and right part represent the rent of the feud, and so according to the size of the feud, you should pay the rent. Then later involve the meaning shoot for the Asian picture. Alright, and let's just skip the Asian version and take a look at the simplified version. So the modern meaning is shoot or accordingly, pretty much the same. And the structure above part is a shelter, this 广 means a shelter for the radical. And the lower part just like a flower in the grass. So for me, I would like you to picture this character, for my opinion, as those plants being raised under the shelter. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4 stroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So the vocabulary, first one, 应该. Both 应 and 该 here means should, altogether also means should. And the next one, 应聘. This one, 聘, means hunting for a job, and this one, 应, probably means accordingly within this vocabulary. Alright, so this is to apply for the job according to the description. Right, and last one, 适应. 适应, alright, and this in here accordingly, and 适 means probably means to adjust, so adjust to the situation accordingly, to adjust. Okay, next one. 像. This is Asian version, pretty much the same, looks quite the same. So actually this part is the wall, and this is a window on the wall. This dot just to represent, that's a direction, alright? So like this picture, it describes the window facing north, up. In Chinese map, that means north. So that's a window on the north wall, okay? So remember, bear this in mind, this part with no gap in between, that's a wall, okay? And later lose the concrete meaning, become towards plus direction, right? Or plus person. So the structure, this part's radical, this part is the radical roof, and that's just the mouse, and here to represent the window or the entrance, okay? So the vocabulary 向你 means towards you, and the 向前 towards the head, or 方向. 方 means direction, and the 向 here, the smaller direction, towards which direction? So altogether, it's a non-direction, okay? Bear this in mind once again, this with no gap, that's a wall, right? And let's take a look at the next character, magic. Seems pretty much similar, but actually for the Asian picture, that's quite different. This with a gap in between and a dot, that's the door, alright, the simplified version of the door, and that is the mouse. So literally, just for the modern picture, that would be probably to ask about the direction, to ask about where's the door, to ask about the direction, to ask, okay? And for the modern Chinese character, structure is men. For this part with a gap and a dot here, that's men, right? The one with a dot here and with no gap, that's wall, right? Or roof. And is a mouse inside of it. That's the radical of this character, wen, right? So just remember wen is to ask about exit, right? Where is the exit door, okay? Vocabulary, 问好, say, ask for well-being for someone, say hello. 请问, please ask, may I ask, or excuse me. 问题, t is the question. 问 is ask, so all together to represent the question, the noun question. Next one, 知, 知. I like this character and the story behind it pretty much. It's quite funny. See the ancient version of this character. The left part is an arrow. That's probably two hands shooting the arrow. This is the arrow. That's the bow. That's the arrow. And right part is a mouse. It's described the picture that for our ancestors that knowledgeable person, the person who knows a lot, they could talk so fast like they're shooting arrow from their mouth. Right? That's quite funny to me. So the modern Chinese actor keep the meaning to know. I've already mentioned left part, that's the arrow from this picture, and right part is a mouse as a radical. Alright, so two part both contribute the meaning of the character. Then vocabulary, 知道. Dao is the one you know, Tao or Taoist, that's the big rule for everything. So 知道 would mean to know the rules for everything, or combined to know. And 知识, 识 means to recognize, right? To know, to recognize everything you know and you know recognize, that's your knowledge. And the last one, 通知. 通 actually means throughout. So you make the thing everyone knows, that's notice. Next one, 要 or 要. Alright? 要 or 要. Okay, this word you already know, that means to want, alright? That's the Asian picture. That's a person. This is probably the head. And this two legs, this is a measurement to represent. I'm pointing out this two circle. That's the part I want to emphasize. So Asian picture, the Asian 要 actually to represent 腰, your waist. Then later on, we involve much more meaning for the characters. So we add 月 here at the left side, that represent the meat, right? To form a more complicated character, this to represent the waist, 腰. And we keep the original one to mean 要, want. Right? So the modern one, 要 or 要 means to want. For 要, an important point, 要. Right? The structure for the modern character, above part is 西 as the west. You could picture it as 东西, a stuff, and lower part is 女, the female. So modern Chinese character to me looks a little bit like a maid is holding something above the head, right? The maid is holding something above the head, 东西. Okay. The vocabulary, the first one, 要求, pronounced as 要求, 求 to pursuit, and 要 is to something you want, and requirement is to require, or the requirement. It could be both a verb or noun. And second one, 需要. 需 means need, and 要 means want, and here all together, need. 重要, 重 means heavy, and here is important, and 要 also means important point. Altogether important. And the last one, 主要. This one, 主 means master, and here to represent the main. So 主要, the main point, main. Next one, 容. Asian picture looks a little bit like an awkward face, right? This one, above part, that's the roof. If you could identify, right? A dot, and here, that's the roof. And lower part, that's a valley. See, this is probably the mountain, and this represents the lower part of the mountain, that's the valley. So for our ancestor, we think first the roof or the storage room or the valley, they all shaped like a container, could contain something. So the ancient meaning of this character is to hold or to contain, right? And then later we lose the meaning as a verb here to mean the content, right? For some of the literature usage in modern English, in modern Chinese, it could still represent to hold or to contain. But normally for modern Chinese, we use it as the noun, the content, all right? The structure roof, this part, roof, and lower part, that's the valley, all right? And actually, I want you to memorize it as the green. As I could show you a picture, that's the green storage to me, a little bit like the character. That's the roof here, and then that's the roof here, and then 1, 2. There's 1, 2, and it's 3, 4, and 3, 4. Then a square like this above to mean a barn that could contain a lot of stuff. The vocabulary 容易, the content is easy, or combined easy. And 内容, alright, 内 means inside, and 容 content. The content inside the content. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 就. Alright, this is a very important character. This left part, 就, could you identify? That's probably the first city you know about China. Beijing, alright, Beijing. This one is Jing, and actually for the Asian picture to represent high ground, that's a person stand on the mountain high, at the top of the mountain. So the left part means high, and the right part is the shape of a person running. So the Asian picture is to move to the highland, right? So, and later, I don't know how involved, but that's the modern meaning. Lose the concrete meaning to become a function word, or actually contains tons of millions of meanings, depends on different structures. Or you could simply translate it as then, but that's not quite accurate. But sometimes, most of the time, you could translate as then, but the meaning depends on the situation. For the modern Chinese character, left part Jing as the capital, and right part is you. Alright, here just to picture it as a person with his arms stretched and the legs open, just running with sweat. Alright, to picture it as the capital is for most people's favorite place, and people are eager to move to the capital, right? Just running with arms, legs stretched with sweat, want to move to the capital. Okay, and so far two structure we've really learned very important. The first is if then 如果就, and the second one 只要就 as long as then, right? So normally in the structure 就 follow with the result. If something happened, then if you fulfill this requirement, something will happen. 就 will be the result, and as long as you fulfill this requirement, and something will happen. Result. Okay, that's all for today's class. Thanks for attention.